Well, hello again, friends. Welcome back to the History Shelf. My name is Peg, and today we're going to be getting into a new round of new releases, history in April. Um, as I look at the calendar, it is the evening of April 7th. Again, I'm a little late in bringing to you the new releases in history coming out this month. We've got a nice, big, healthy stack. I had to separate some of them. I'll probably be doing a new fiction video in the next week to 10 days. I'm trying to do a lot of catch up. And just the plethora of books coming across the desk here at the History Shelf. But it's all exciting stuff, and I'm happy to be bringing all of you history and nonfiction lovers out there just a smorgasbord of new titles for you to consider. So sit back, grab a drink, kick back, unwind a little bit, let the cares of the day go by. And there's a lot of cares these days, aren't there? But hey, let's give you a little escape right now. Okay. That's all I got to say. Okay, let's start with, I got a finished copy of this book, which is going to be juicy. This book came out, or hang on a second, even though I got the finished copy, it releases April 21st. So in a couple weeks, expect this new book to be hitting bookshelves. This is Boomtown, The True Story of the Wickedest Town in Texas by Joe Papalardo. And this is from St. Martin's Press. It's got a nice deckle-edged book here. So what is this about? Let me tell you. And let me go ahead and remove, now that you know who I am, let me get into this. So the town of Borger, I think it's Borger, not Borger, Borger, Texas, was founded in 1926 after oil was discovered. Seemingly overnight, Borger became a boomtown. A.P. Ace Borger, the town's namesake, was a shrewd and powerful land investor in Texas and Oklahoma who played a major role in the town's development. Along with his business partner and attorney, John R. Miller, who would soon thereafter become the mayor of Borger, they purchased a large swath of acreage to create their quote-unquote town. In no time at all, the little prairie village became a haven not just for oilmen and roughnecks, but also bootleggers. Prohibition, right? Pimps and prostitutes, card sharks, drug dealers, and all manner of criminals run by a crooked city hall. Author Joe Papalardo knows Texas and its history better than anyone. Oh, well, that's right. I've got a couple of other of his books in advanced reader copies. His critically acclaimed book on Texas, Four Against the West, and Red Sky Morning have cemented his status as a voice of the Lone Star State's star-crossed past. So this book turns the spotlight on the Panhandle region of the state to find the most interesting and wicked collection of characters that existed in the Southwest. Let's see what who he kind of profiles in this book. Looks at the cases of legendary Texas Ranger Frank Hamer, famed for taking down Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow. When a murderous gang of bank robbers arrives in Borger to set up shop with boozing, gambling, and prostitutes, all hell breaks loose. In a matter of a couple of weeks, the gang kills 3 law enforcement officers. Hamer is called in to bring in the heat to these thugs. His arrival threatens to break the seedy side of this boomtown if he doesn't die first. As Joe Papalardo shows in Boomtown, no good story can captivate an audience without compelling villains. Yeah, and Borger seemed to corner the market on that. From bootlegger Shine Popejoy to corrupt Sheriff Two-Gun Dick Herwig, to the crookedest mayor in the crookedest town, John Miller, this place had them all. This place right there. Of course, it wasn't all bad in Borger, however. Mostly, but not completely. The town was also a place where hopeful people seeking a chance to make it big arrived with their dreams, such as dance hall maven Maddie Castleberry and professional wrestler Dutch Betke. Boomtown is one of the most thrilling and violent untold stories from the era of gangsters, lawmen, and vice. And Papalardo brings to life a town previously lost to history. So, how fun is this? It's kind of like Old West, but in the early 20th century. Yes, and I remember because we are running a review of this, a nonfiction review online for a Historical Novel Society, and the gal who reviewed it for us, she said it was a lot of fun, and it was written as in like excerpts from like news stories, kind of almost like a diary entry, like, you know, what's going on. Oh, and then you got the great footnotes at the bottom, which I really enjoy while I'm reading. So Boomtown, Joe Papalardo, coming out April 21st. Add it to your list if it is of interest to you, of course. I know I'm going to be reading it when I can get to it. Oh, gosh. So this is the book I have been waiting for, and this is coming out next week. So April 14th, I hope to get a finished copy of this. And if I do, I'll be happy to do a giveaway of this copy. And what do we have here? We have Rasputin, the downfall of the Romanovs. And you know the Romanovs, if you've been following my channel since I began, Romanovs and Russian history, especially around the time of the early 20th century, has always been one of my passions. And I've read so many books on Rasputin, Nicholas II, cut my teeth on Edvard Radzinsky's biography of Nicholas II, and you know, and then of course Massey with Nicholas and Alexandra. Such great. It's better than fiction. It's just amazing that this was actual history. Anyway, this is coming out from Viking Books, and this is Antony Beevor's new book, Rasputin, The Downfall of the Romanovs. I cannot wait to read this. I don't have the pub sheet, so let me just read from the back here. When Russia's Dowager Empress was pregnant with the future Tsar, she dreamed that a peasant would one day kill her son. The idea terrified her, and for the rest of her days, she lived under the pressure of the prophecy. Did the prophecy come true with the arrival at court of a mysterious, barely literate mujik, and that's like the Russian for holy man, from Siberia, Grigory Rasputin? In this extraordinary portrait of an enigmatic character, Antony Beevor brings readers closer than ever before to Rasputin's scandalous life and death. Though he had no official position at court, Rasputin's hold over the Romanovs became the stuff of legend. Exaggerated accounts of political and financial corruption swirled around him, to say nothing of the stories of his debauchery with the Empress and even her daughters. The consequences of the rumors and conspiracy theories were devastating. When the February Revolution broke out in 1917, hardly a sword was raised in the Tsar's defense. Through extensive use of previously unpublished reports, interviews, and interrogations, Beevor shows the truth of Rasputin's rampant lust and opportunism, victimization of poor and vulnerable women, and deep hypocrisy and corruption. Part political thriller, part Gothic mystery, Rasputin is a fascinating story of human perversity. Doesn't that sound amazing? Yeah, I need the. They do have the advanced reader copy does have pictures in here, so that's great. That's good. But I still want the finished copy because I have just about every book that there is on Rasputin and the Romanovs. I mean, there's a lot on the Romanovs, but I've got the majority, you know, the big bangers. I've got those. So yes, April 14th from Viking Books. And, you know, Antony Beevor, you can't go wrong. He's just one of our most acclaimed historians, especially like World War II era. So I'll be interested to see how he tackles this topic. Yeah. All right. Moving along. Okay, this is going to be different. I don't know if I see. I might be interviewing the author. I need to see if I can see if he's available, and also I got to see when I have time to do it. I just need more time. I've got so many. I'm juggling so many different things. All right, this is from Doubleday Books. And this book is also coming out April 14th. Look at this. It's called Self-Help from the Middle Ages, What the Seven Deadly Sins Can Teach Us About Living by Peter Jones. All right. I also don't have a pub sheet on this, so let me just read the back to you here. A few years ago, Peter Jones was teaching medieval history at a university in Siberia when living through a third icy winter there tipped him into a dark place. I bet. Luckily, he knew something few of us know, that the Middle Ages were the golden age of self-help. In Self-Help from the Middle Ages, Jones makes the case that never in history has so much energy and talent gone into studying how the mind works as in medieval times. Today, we think of the seven deadly sins as a catalog of forbidden behavior, but in the Middle Ages, when they were at the height of their currency, they were seen as a path to self-knowledge and a psychological map that laid out 7 basic patterns of thought, showing how our thinking can go astray and how we can find our way home. In this charming and illuminating guide, Peter Jones explores the lives of scholars and saints, mystics and monarchs, along with the insights they offer into temptation, frustration, addiction, compulsion, burnout, rage, fear, anxiety, and grief. With beautiful illustrations drawn from medieval art and literature, this book is an irresistible read for lovers of history and all those who seek wisdom from the past. Ooh, yes, that would be a fun interview for sure. Oh yeah. So you got chapters on like envy, anger, sloth, pride, lust, gluttony, avarice. It's all there. Oh, so this is going to be great. I need to read it about like burnout. This could actually help me with my own living in this nutty world we are in. So April 14th, guys, from Doubleday Books, Self-Help from the Middle Ages by Peter Jones. All right, we're going to move on here to this one. I was able to actually this is part of a series of books that I'm surprised I haven't read yet. And I also didn't know that an actor was involved in these books. This is another book that's coming out April 14th, this time from Harper Select Books. And this is Ghosts of Sicily. All right. The true story of the naval intelligence agents who courted the mob to fight Nazis in America and the battlefields of Italy. It's a very long subtitle. This is by Mark Harmon, who is an actor, and Leon Carroll Jr., a retired NCIS special agent. Okay, so when I heard about this book, a publicist reached out to me on this, and I'm like, I think I've seen some other books that have like ghosts in the title. And, she was kind enough to send me, maybe in case you guys have already read these. The first book was Ghosts of Honolulu, a Japanese spy, a Japanese American spy hunter, and the untold story of Pearl Harbor. Okay, so she sent me the paperback version of that. Thank you very much. And also the book that came after that. And this book came out in late 2024, and this was called Ghosts of Panama. A strong man out of control, a murdered Marine, and the special agents caught in the middle of an invasion. So obviously that has to do with the Panamanian, Noriega, 1989, and President George H.W. Bush. So anyways, you can see, so these are our authors. We got Mark Harmon, the actor, and Leon Carroll Jr. So they've been collaborating on these. So I kind of want to go back and tackle these two and get a sense of the writing and the research involved. And then this one. So now this one's coming out next week. And I'm excited. I'm excited to check out all of them. All right, well, let me tell you what this one is about here. Let's see. It's 1942 and New York City is at war. German U-boats are sinking ships just miles offshore, and Washington, D.C. is convinced that waterfront spies are providing intelligence targeting the ships. To thwart the threat, the Office of Naval Intelligence reaches out to those with the most sway along the waterfronts of Brooklyn and Manhattan, the mob. The result will be a triumph for the ONI and one of the most successful and controversial operations in the long history of what we now know as NCIS. And obviously that's Mark Harmon's entry into this because of the very, very popular television series that, he began. I don't know if it's still running. Anyway, it continues. The Navy's alliance with Charles Lucky Luciano and his organization will send New Yorker Tony Marslow and his fellow ONI officers on an international odyssey that includes holding secret meetings with legendary criminals, hunting clandestine spy rings operating on U.S. soil, and conducting daring undercover missions behind the bloody front lines of the invasion of Italy. In addition to towering historic figures like Meyer Lansky and General George Patton, readers will encounter a kaleidoscope of agents and gangsters who not only shaped the war in Italy, but the future of international crime itself. So if you're a fan of the series, rejoice. You've got a new entry arriving in a week. So yeah, I am stoked because I love reading books in a series. And then you got all three of them here. So, all right, moving on to the next. Ooh. All right, now we're going to go heavy. So this book is coming from Farrar, Straus, and Giroux. This book's coming out April 21st. And, oh boy. Basically, I'll give you the short version right now. A leading Israeli-American scholar of the Holocaust explores and explains his native country's intensifying turn toward violence and exclusion. And this is Israel, What Went Wrong by Omer Bartov. So it's not a huge book here, but I'll try to read a little bit more. Sorry for the glare there. Okay. I'm not sure where to begin on this. This is let's see here. Okay. In Israel, What Went Wrong, Bartov brings a historical and moral perspective to his country's intensifying turn toward violence and systemic exclusion, trying to understand how a movement that sought to emancipate European Jewry from oppression turned into a project of ethno-nationalism, how a state founded in the immediate aftermath of the Holocaust, an event that gave legitimacy to a national home for the Jews, stands credibly accused of perpetrating large-scale war crimes with support from the majority of its Jewish population. In interlinking essays, Bartov traces the roots of contemporary violence, examining the origins of the State of Israel alongside the coeval Palestinian displacement, the politics of the Holocaust, his visits to Israel during the recent conflict, and the historical explanation for the lack of an Israeli constitution, a document which, Bartov believes, could have helped direct Israel down a different path, one in which equal rights were the basis of the state, its project that of Jewish peace, truth, and reconciliation with Palestinians. So that's going to be interesting. This is going to be some heady reading for sure. So I'm intrigued, and I want to read his case for that. All right, so again, this is coming out April 21st from Farrar, Straus, and Giroux. All right, I'm moving right along. Oh, this sounds another book from the great people at Farrar, Straus, and Giroux. Ooh, and this book actually came out today, publishes today, April 7th. And this is Mutiny, The Rise and Revolt of the College-Educated Working Class by Noam Scheiber. Got this is an advanced review copy on here. Let's see here. This is the story of a disillusioned generation that set out to reclaim its dignity and take on corporate America. Tens of millions of people suffered from the 1-2 punch of the recession and the pandemic. Most of them lacked degrees and fared even worse than the college-educated, who earned significantly higher wages on average. But young college grads experienced the hardship as something altogether different, not just as an economic setback, but as a psychological one. For them, getting stranded in a low-paying service job upended the entire picture of adulthood they had been taught to imagine. In effect, a gap had opened up between the expectations of many graduates and their actual prospects, and they were pissed off about it. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. This is ranked in a genre of business and economics and social science. I will be dipping in pieces here and there because I do, as part of my work in higher education, I am really curious about how the younger generation is handling this market. The transfer or the transition from, their 4 years of college. Some people continue, but and into a workforce that doesn't have a place for them, and especially for like the degrees that they're going for. So, yeah, I'm intrigued. I'd like to just for my own knowledge, and especially just considering where I work and our members and our audience. This is something I'd like to know some more about. So this again published today, April 7th. Mutiny: The Rise and Revolt of the College-Educated Working Class by Noam Scheiber from Farrar, Straus, and Giroux. All right, guys, we're just cranking along here. Ooh, yes. This book, do I have a pub sheet? No, I don't. It's not terribly long. Well, it's almost 300 pages. Okay. When does this come out? Oh, also published today. Excellent. This is from Hanover Square Press, and this is Whatever Happened to Eddie Crane? A Memoir and a Murder Investigation by Kate Crane. So let's see the connection there. Little slim volume here. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. One night when Kate Crane was 12, her father called to say he was on his way home from his trucking business. He never showed up. Kate and her family were left stunned with no explanation or resolution on the horizon. 20 years later, now a journalist in New York City, Kate reopens the investigation with Baltimore's Cold Case Unit, tracks down the retired detectives who'd worked Eddie's case, and chases leads with old friends through her hometown's dark alleys. Maybe she can find some answers, or at least a little solace. Part memoir, part true crime, part psychological suspense. Whatever Happened to Eddie Crane is a brilliantly written, emotionally resonant story of searing loss and resilience, of Baltimore, of family ghosts, and of the bravery required to confront the past. So yeah, and that kind of fits under, well, I want to say, because we don't know what happened to Eddie Crane, but, sounds like true crime, obviously. Something did. So yeah, I definitely want to read this. Sounds good to me. I kind of like things that just, are still looking to be solved. Anyway, this is out today. If you are interested, from Hanover Square Press, check it out. All right. Then we're moving into some big beefy books. This one's coming out next week. Let's see. Doesn't tell me when it's coming out. All right, here we go. All right, we'll save that one for later. Okay, let's show you this next book, because this is also publishing today. I have the finished copy, and this is a book I will be writing a review for the nonfiction section of Historical Novel Society. So of the review of the magazine that we put out. Big beefy biography. This is going to be good. This is After Oscar: The Legacy of a Scandal by Merlin, Holland. And this is put out by Europa Editions. Another great publisher of fiction. They also do some history and nonfiction, obviously. This book is like 700 pages, but it's just been getting blurbed all over the place. So let me just hold this up to see how long I can hold up this very big, beefy book for you guys. After Oscar. Look at that. Oh, it's a big guy. And he's a big guy, too. Okay, this is written by Oscar Wilde's only grandson. Wow. Okay, here we go. Oscar Wilde died in November 1900, exiled in Paris and exhausted by scandal and prison life. The details of his life in the limelight are well known. What have regularly been ignored are the reverberations of the scandal for decades after his death. Okay. With pathos, humor, and his grandfather's signature wit, Holland charts the extraordinary afterlife of the legendary writer and thinker and traces the dramatic fluctuations in Wilde's posthumous reputation over the past 125 years. A true feat of storytelling and scholarship, After Oscar tells the story of Oscar's wife, Constance, and his sons, Cyril and Vivian, his lovers, friends, and enemies, the afterlife of De Profundis, De Profundis, sightings from beyond the grave, the fate of the Wilde estate, and Oscar's contemporary status as a gay icon. One of the most important works on Wilde in over 50 years. So this is a big release. After Oscar exposes decades of sensationalist conjecture surrounding the Wilde family and documents a century of homophobia within the British establishment. Illuminating and heartbreaking, Holland has written a book that will amuse, infuriate, fascinate, and shock. Readers, beware. You're in for a wild ride. Yeah, see what they did there? Anyway, I'm looking forward to reading it and also writing my review. There are the center of this book. You can see this white right here. Those are a lot of pictures. So, I mean, I've never seen a book that has that big of an insert of just pictures. Wow. We start here, and there's just a lot. See if I can hold this up without breaking the spine of the books. I hate doing that. Lots of photos in here, guys. Sorry. Anyway, you get the picture. See what I did there too. All right. After Oscar, The Legacy of a Scandal, out today? Yes. Today from Europa Editions. Also, if you'd like to follow my reviews, just as another reminder, in case you're new to the channel, just go into the description box and you'll just find my links to all my social media. I post my reviews, or I'll show the picture of the book and tell you where my review is so that you can find it. I write a lot of different reviews, history, nonfiction, but also fiction. So stay tuned. All right. Let's see, guys. I thought I had more for April, but I think some of them were fiction. So I separated them out because last time I took a little informal poll on this channel, you all said that, yes, please just separate out the fiction, because a lot of you are just like, we just want the history, man. We just want the nonfiction. We don't want to mess with any fiction. So I'll make separate videos so that when you see a fiction video release, you can just, ignore it and just move on with your day. And this way, you're getting all fiction all the time, or at least in this video. Okay. Oh, yeah, this is going to be great. And I definitely want a finished copy of this one. See if I can get it. And again, I'm trying to amp up my giveaways on this channel. I just sent off the winners' books from the last giveaway. So that was like last week. So this is going to be really good. This is coming out from Alfred A. Knopf Publishing. It's coming out next week, April 14th. Look at this. Korean Messiah, Kim Il-sung and the Christian Roots of North Korea's Personality Cult by Jonathan Cheng. Again, if you've almost hit myself with this, it's a big book. If you have followed my channel, you know that I minor in dictators and despots. So I've always been fascinated by North Korea, and they're just an extremely repressive, totalitarian regime. And this one is obviously about the man who started it all, Kim Il-sung. And I really find this interesting that they're bringing in the Christian roots of North Korea's personality cult. So I'm really intrigued by that. Like, how is he going to write that? So let me just go ahead and read the back to you. I don't have the pub sheet. This is a landmark history of North Korea, told through the rise of the Kim dynasty and its surprising ties to American Christianity. A spectacular, penetrating account of a world like no other. All right, so now we move into the description here. North Korea, the Hermit Kingdom. For nearly 8 decades, it has marched defiantly to its own beat, shaking off its Soviet and Chinese sponsors to emerge as the world's most enigmatic nation, a nuclear-armed state ruled by a dictatorial dynasty. Underpinning the state is a personality cult more soaked in religiosity than those constructed by Stalin or Mao, one that traces its roots back to the Christian fervor of post-Civil War America. That's fascinating. Jonathan Chang, the Wall Street Journal's China bureau chief and former Korea bureau chief, takes us deep inside Pyongyang, a city once so dominated by Christianity. It was known as the Jerusalem of the East. Now, I have heard of that. Chang introduces us to Samuel Moffett, a Presbyterian missionary from Madison, Indiana, who would venture into Pyongyang at the turn of the 19th century and build a remarkable following, one that would include the Kim family that today presides over one of the world's harshest persecutors of the Christian faith. At the center of this story is North Korea's founder, Kim Il-sung, son of 2 fervent Christians and progenitor of an ideology known as Kim Il-sungism, an exercise in idolatry that has elevated him and his successor son and grandson to Christ-like status. From the humble manger where he was born to the subway seat on which the venerated leader once placed his posterior, cordoned off as if it were a religious relic. Oh, wow. Drawing on letters, diaries, and never before unearthed archival material that temper and often contradict the glorious historical record promoted by Kim Il-sung's legions of hagiographers, Korean Messiah tells the true story of a country shrouded in fictions. Oh man, I want to start reading this tonight. Oh, I can't wait. Okay, so yeah, this is one for the ages. This is up here with the Rasputin title for me. So I'm going to be really enjoying. I hope to enjoy this one, and I want to start it soon. I need to power read a book right now on the Third Duke of Richmond for a book review. So anyway, Korean Messiah coming out next week from Knopf. So guys, you know you want to get this on your TBR. I thought you'd want to know about it, right? Okay. Okay, so last book. I think this is it. Hey, we're at 32 minutes. Not so bad. All right, so this book comes out at the end of the month from Bloomsbury. The good folks at Bloomsbury. This is, let's see if I get my, okay. This comes out April 28th, and this is The Secret War Against Hate, American Resistance to Anti-Semitism and White Supremacy by Stephen J. Ross. Okay, roughly the size. This is an advanced copy, so about 432 pages. Let me see here. You know what? I'm going to read from the back because I think it has a better description than the pub sheet. Okay, so many Americans today like to believe that the end of World War II brought a decrease in hate and a new era of tolerance in the United States. Nothing could be further from the truth. Anti-Semitism and racism went up, not down, after the war's end. Violence broke out in cities across the country, and the number of organized hate groups more than doubled from 1940 to 1946. In this shocking account of a resurgence of white supremacy in America, celebrated historian Stephen J. Ross reveals how 4 key leaders, Emory Burke, J.B. Stoner, James Maydall, and George Lincoln Rockwell, worked together to, quote, finish the job Hitler had begun, end quote, launching deadly attacks on Jews and African Americans and building a network of terrorists across the U.S. In response, 3 unsung heroes, Arnold Forster of the Anti-Defamation League, George Mintzer of the American Jewish Committee, and James Sheldon of the Non-Sectarian Anti-Nazi League, along with dozens of other men and women, infiltrated, monitored, and undermined these hate groups, putting their own safety on the line and scoring important victories that today have been all but forgotten. Well, this is, I never knew. Tracing their extraordinary work, The Secret War Against Hate provides a groundbreaking reconsideration of the legacy of the quote unquote good war, and essential reading on how America today can beat hate once again and build a just and united nation, which seems almost impossible now, but you can never give up hope. Yeah, wow, what a powerful work. And I wasn't even aware of the folks that went to battle against these people. So a very important work, guys, and this is coming out April 28th. So keep your eyes open for this one, or keep your eyes out for this one. Stephen J. Ross, Secret War Against Hate from Bloomsbury. All right. I may have some other April releases trickling in. Then I'm, like I said, I'm trying to keep the new books that are coming out, the galleys that I get. I try to collect them by month so that I can, put these videos out at least once a month for you guys, so you can see some of the new releases coming out that you can add to your TBR. And just, I'm trying to perform a service to inform you of what is happening. But also, I review a lot of books that coincide with some of these galleys. I do a lot of different work for different folks. I do some freelance work. So, for different publications, both print and online. So a lot of times the books that come in, I might already be assigned, commissioned to write a review for. So I always try to share that with you. Like with the After Oscar book, I'll be doing that one. Oh, wait, wait a minute. I just found two more. April releases. Yes. And these are ones I've written reviews for, or one I will be, and one I just submitted yesterday. Okay, that's exciting, guys. Wait, so we're not done yet. Don't go anywhere. Sometimes I have a working pile, and then I have the pile that I just want to kind of go through with you guys. All right, so this one, let's go with the one that's coming out next week. I just finished this, and this was amazing. And I'm going to request the finished copy because I need to see the artwork, the plates, the frescoes. This is ancient history, and Roman history for those of you out there that love it. You're in for a treat with this one. This is Those Who Are About to Die: A Day in the Life of a Roman Gladiator by Harry Sidebottom. Harry Sidebottom. I'm not going to make a joke. Not at all, because wow, this man is an expert. Harry Sidebottom is a lecturer in ancient history at Lincoln College, Oxford. And he's also written 15 historical novels in the Warriors of Rome series. So this man knows his stuff. But this is coming out from Knopf, another great book from Knopf Publishers. I just, like I said, filed my review with the editor at Washington Independent Review of Books, so that my review should be coming out in the next week. And of course, I will link to it on my social media, so stay tuned. This was really good. Let me just read to you. This one is marked up a little bit, but I already know who's going to get this galley. Woo! I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. I didn't have time to mute. Okay. What did a gladiator feel when he stepped out into the sand of the Colosseum, his life in the balance? What ran through the minds of the masses there to witness his likely execution? And how did this bloodthirsty ritual come to exist in the first place? In Those Who Are About to Die, Harry Sidebottom pulls us into the arena and into the homes and forums of ancient Rome, taking the reader on an eye-opening 24-hour tour through Roman life at the height of the gladiatorial games, from the 1st century BC to the 2nd century AD. We follow gladiators through the schools where they trained, watch in awe as the massive event unfolds. From the gambling at the pre-festival dinner to the dawn rush to get a seat in the arena, to the resounding music, the elaborate stage sets, and yes, the public executions that served as lunch break entertainment. And we unlearn all the bogus movie tropes, such as gladiators did not have ripped bods. They were kept fleshy so that they'd bleed more. Broken down by time of day, like Vesper, Prima Vigilia, Secunda Vigilia, up through the following sunset, Solus Ocasus. Those Who Are About to Die offers illuminating illuminating insights into every aspect of Roman life and thought, their social mores and hierarchies, their feelings about death and sex and violence, and the myths and dreams that fueled the spectacle of the games. Yeah, coming out next Tuesday. All right, yep, next Tuesday from Knopf and Harry Sidebottom. This was a fantastic book, so stay tuned for my review. I learned so much just about, again, it's about the Roman mind, but he sets it around the 24 hours in the Roman, I want to say the clock, but there are times of day, which in each time of day wasn't like our clock. They varied in length due to the seasons, and it's fascinating stuff, really. And I finished this book a few weeks ago. Then they moved the publication date, so I didn't have to crank out my review, but I'm going to be writing it. Oh, yeah, but I'll be writing it this week because this book is coming out. Okay, now it's coming out. Oh, because they did move it. Oh, poop. I'm going to show it to you anyway, guys. All right, because it was originally set for April 26th, but then they kind of nudged it to May 12th, but I'm going to show it to you anyway, okay? This is, I think I've already talked to you about it. The Lost Voices of Pompeii, Life and Death on Pompeii's Final Day, by Dr. Jess Venner. This is from William Morrow Books. Okay, so it is moved to May, but I originally read it in April, and it was supposed to come out at the end of this month. This was another one. I'll be writing a review of this for Shelf Awareness. The Lost Voices of Pompeii follows ordinary people on what should have been an ordinary day. Petrinus, a slave, hopes to purchase his freedom. The recently elected Gaius Cuspius Pansa seeks to cement his legacy as a generous public servant. And the shrewd merchant Aulus Umbricius Scaurus and ambitious innkeeper Euchinus each devise ways to expand their growing businesses. Okay. Meanwhile, Julia Felix, a female entrepreneur, prepares to host the cult of Isis and its mesmerizing priest, Amasucius. And freedwoman turned businesswoman Umbricia Fortunata and her husband Lucius work to secure a better future for their children. Pompeii's story is often reduced to the scope of its tragedy, but Dr. Venner brings our attention back to the individuals. As the citizens' paths weave together and apart, leading up to the final fateful moment, they capture a civilization rich in history, traditions, and aspirations. A profound and immersive experience, The Lost Voices of Pompeii revives a people often overshadowed by death and destruction and tells a poignant tale of humanity and resilience. There's some similarity between how this is written and this a little bit. This has a little bit more fictionalized stuff as far as she kind of inhabits these characters that represent, again, certain sections of society in Pompeii. And then she'll move into the history part. Like on chapter 1, The Invisible Slave. And it'll say the 8th hour, 1 p.m., 23rd October, 79 CE. She writes really vividly. And I could see her writing fiction as well. But she gets into aspects of just what it was like to be in Pompeii, just like Harry Sidebottom does here. And in fact, Pompeii is mentioned in this book a lot because there were gladiatorial schools there. Pompeii, a lot of the mosaics and frescoes and stuff that Harry Sidebottom analyzes in this book were recovered or uncovered from Pompeii. So it was a big deal in Pompeii, the gladiators. Anyway, so this is kind of along those lines, bit more like fictional imagination and narrative, but she really incorporates, what it was like to walk the streets of Pompeii and to interact with, like she includes like the graffiti. See, these are the gladiator graffiti. It's richly illustrated with photos and the ruins, and that's why I'd like to get a finished copy of this so I can see it without like the printer's marks across it. So Yeah, I really enjoyed this book. Both of these were both just winners. So keep an eye out for The Lost Voices of Pompeii as well. All right, but I promise now that's it. And we are at 44 minutes, so coming up on my usual 50-minute video. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for joining me here at the History Shelf. I hope to be back sooner than I was last time. I keep meaning to try to make more videos. I'm going to try to crank out a couple more this week. Knock on wood. All right. Let me know what you think of these books. Tell me what your favorites are. I always like to know. Thanks for joining me again. Like and subscribe if you could. It always helps the channel and helps me to know that people still want to know about history. Because, boy, everyone needs to know history now more than ever. Now more than ever. So important. All right, guys. Until next time, take care, be well, and be safe out there. Bye-bye.